Hello, get ready for the exciting theories of Fargo Season 5. Warning, spoilers ahead. Is Fargo based on a true story? A bizarre film that claims to be based on a genuine story. But is it? The big picture. The true story disclaimer in Fargo was incorporated to generate a specific tone for the picture, despite the fact that the events depicted are fictional. The Coen brothers did add certain real-life details to the film, such as the wood chipper sequence, which was inspired by a true murder case. The television series Fargo pays homage to the film by beginning each episode with a similar true story disclaimer, despite the fact that the stories are fictional. Joel and Ethan Coen's 1996 classic Fargo begins with a very particular disclaimer: this is a true story. The events described in this video occurred in Minnesota in 1987. The survivors requested that their names be changed. Out of respect for the deceased, the rest have been told just as it happened. And from there, the Coens create a story that seems far too absurd to be genuine. So, what's the true story here? Was Fargo based on genuine events? Or were the Coens simply yanking our legs all along? The Coen brothers' Fargo is not really based on a true story. One thing is certain: despite what they would have you believe, the Coens did not dramatize any real-life event exactly as it occurred. Fargo depicts the story of Jerry Lundegaard, a struggling Oldsmobile dealer who employs two renegades, Carl and Gear, to kidnap his wife. Jerry intends to use the kidnapping to blackmail his father-in-law, who owns the dealership where Jerry works, for much-needed money. Given that this is a Coen brothers picture, it's fair to imagine that the criminals aren't particularly clever. And things quickly spiral out of hand, especially when a knowledgeable and extremely pregnant police investigator named Marge Gunderson begins working the case. After murdering a state trooper, Gear clashes with Carl, while Jerry becomes increasingly determined to reclaim his wife. It would be awful if the Coen brothers weren't so adept at finding dark humor in the most odd and horrific situations. Jerry's extortion effort fails utterly, while Carl is on the receiving end of a wood chipper in the film's most gruesome and likely most iconic scene. Fargo's true story disclaimer was only meant to set the film's tone. Frances McDormand plays Marge Gunderson, sitting in a cop cruiser and looking forlorn in Fargo. Image courtesy of MGM. Which brings us back to the question: is any of this factual, as the film claims? Overall, the answer is no. In 2016, in honor of the film's 20th anniversary, Ethan Coen told HuffPost that the disclaimer was placed to set a certain tone. "We wanted to make a movie just in the genre of a true story movie," he explained. "You don't have to have a true story to make a true story movie." In essence, the Coens wanted the picture to have the impression of a gritty true crime thriller, even if the events depicted never happened. However, the true story claim isn't completely false, as the Coens did cherry-pick a few facts from real life for the film. The wood chipper scene was inspired by a true-life murder that occurred in Connecticut about a decade before Fargo was released. Richard Crafts was arrested and convicted of killing his wife and disposing of her remains with a wood chipper. Is Fargo based on a true story? So, like many filmmakers before them, the Coen brothers plucked a few real-life aspects to put into their otherwise fictional film. The disclaimer asserting that everything is accurate is simply a stylistic sleight of hand. This makes it all the more amusing that the disclaimer lives on in Noah Hawley's superb TV series Fargo, which was inspired by the original film and has aired for 5 seasons on FX. It's also available on Hulu. Fargo the TV series contains a number of sneaky ties to Fargo the film, the most noteworthy of which is the bag full of money that Buscemi's character hides in the snow in the film, which reappears in the show throughout the first season. But one of the most obvious callbacks is that each episode of the series begins with the exact same bit of text proclaiming that what you're about to see is a true story at the request of the survivors. The names have been changed, and out of respect for the dead, the rest has been told exactly as it occurred. The only thing that varies from season to season is the date and location, as Fargo is an anthology program that moves around time and place to present a new story each season. As a quick reminder, in Season 1, Martin Freeman's quiet insurance agent is terrorized by Billy Bob Thornton's chaotic agent. Season 2 features Kirsten Dunst and Jesse Plemons trying to get out of trouble after inadvertently murdering a mob boss' son. Season 3 stars Ewan McGregor as twins, with Carrie Coon also appearing. Season 4 is set in the 1950s, and Chris Rock plays a major dramatic role. Season 5 finds Juno Temple's tough housewife attempting to flee her cruel ex-husband, a frightening sheriff played by John Hamm. Thank you for watching.